North Carolina passed a law that said you could only use the restroom of the gender you were assigned at birth.
Woo!
No! We're going to explore this. So you don't believe in gender-neutral bathrooms?
Pardon?
Oh no, I get that I've already lost you, but
Why are you surprised when you get a response?
I don't know for sure if I'm remembering this correctly, even though I wrote the bit. The exact words I used was North Carolina passed a law that said you could only use the restroom of the gender you were assigned at birth. Now, what part of that to you is a question?
It's not. I'm just a firm believer that that's a great idea.
Why?
They should not feel any type of a 40-year-old man coming into a little girl's washroom.
Why is it taking you 17 minutes to say this, sir?
You've been talking for like how long and you're not even funny yet?
I've been talking for how long? That's what you fucking paid me for, you dummy. Are you aware that little girls get brought to the men's room by their fathers?
Little girls, old men in a bathroom, you're okay with that?
I asked you a yes or no question.
No, you didn't.
Yes, he did! I get why you don't find me funny. You don't understand shit, man. So when you... No.
I paid for Steve. Talk to Steve.
I appreciate that, but believe me, I'm gonna give you what you want.
I ain't got no big name. Oh Lord, and ain't no big star. But I'll play the blues for you on my guitar. Listen. Oh, your loneliness, I'll try to soothe. I'll play the blues for you. Yeah. Listen.
And good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on what part of the globe you're on and what time zone you are in. Good morning, Sweet Pea.
Good morning, skeptically.
And how are you doing today?
I am doing well.
As opposed to...
How are you?
I'm doing
How are
great.
you doing today?
I don't know, I feel rested, which is a new feeling for me because usually I'm not.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you feel rested.
Yeah, I've been actually getting to bed at a decent hour for once. All week. Actually, all
No,
weekend.
that is really good.
All
that is
weekend
really
into
good.
this week. So let's see how long I can keep this up. Well, friends, enemies, good friends and neighbors, if you want more independent media in your life, please consider supporting the show. Support us on Cash App, Venmo, Patreon. Become a Patreon subscriber. We'd love you. We'd love to have you. You found us on YouTube. You can also find us on TikTok, Bluesky, Discord, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, Kick, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, and now Substack. And it looks like the government's shutting down yet again. Because that's what we do. You know, we have a dysfunctional government and we can't come to any type of an agreement. So therefore, you get, I mean, this is the price we pay. This is the price we pay. Oh, you know, so there's a big hefty price tag for a dysfunctional government, and who knew? Fascism costs. So we're here to talk about the government, the Republican-led, instigated, directed shutdown. Because let's not get this twisted. Republicans control all four branches of government. even though technically there are three. There's the fourth estate, the media. They've already got the media in their back pockets. Will the U.S. government shut down in 2025? Well, according to the USA Today, probably. President Donald Trump is holding out for Congress to avoid a government shutdown. Well, good luck. So he met several top officials on Monday, failed to produce a resolution for the 2025 U.S. government shutdown. In order to keep the government open, Democrats would have to agree to billions of dollars taken out of federally funded programs, which, we're talking Medicaid, Medicare, we're talking programs that go towards hungry children. It's set to run out of money by midnight, October 1st, but the members of Congress will need to reach common ground on partisan differences to pass funding for the new fiscal year. And fuck no. We cannot be working with these Nazis. Lawmakers in the House aren't scheduled to return to take any votes until the government potentially shuts down. In the meantime, Schumer and John Thune are hoping to get senators to reconsider their own funding measures, which are likely to pass. So they've got a nice, lovely graph when it talks federal government shutdowns, the number of days. In 2017 into 2019, what was it? 38 days. Under Jimmy Carter, it was 56. 26 days. Bill Clinton. George H.W. Bush, only 3. Ronald Reagan, 14. Gerald Ford, 10. Barack Obama, 16. Joe Biden, 0. In the event of a federal government shutdown, federal employees may be eligible for unemployment compensation for federal employees through the UCFE program.
Yeah, but haven't they already decimated the funds for some of those programs anyway? Haven't they stopped the funding for those programs anyway?
They've been taking money away, but they haven't stopped all funding. And the goal is all funding. They're almost there. They're getting closer and closer.
So is Trump thinking about pilfering all this extra money to siphon into Israel like he was planning on doing? Because he's got no problem sending money over there.
Oh, yeah. Different states, different governors have been leading initiatives which buy Israeli war bonds and debt bonds and whatever else the fuck they're selling. I know in Arkansas, they are in Florida and Texas. They've been spending like a house afire.
They have, because
that's how they divert money legally.
Because this has very much become what the far right always cry out about, is a corrupt government.
Yeah,
we are currently living a corrupt government that is doing inhumane, disgusting things.
Yeah. So the federal government has officially shut down after a deadlocked Congress. This is from CNN. A weeks-long stalemate between Republicans and Democrats over enhanced Obamacare subsidies. So Obamacare subsidies have been instrumental in keeping states from going completely kaput fiscally. You've got, the loudest voices against Obamacare are the biggest recipients of Obamacare. Good luck trying to get rid of it. And so you've got all these wackaloon Republicans who are just tooth and nail trying to get rid of it. And it's like, you guys are your constituents are the biggest recipients. You've allowed big business to come in and set up shop and not pay the employees, your constituents, by the way, a fair wage, living wages. And so they rely on government programs. And this is the world we've created. This is the brave new world.
I wonder how long it's going to take the millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires and all the other people that are got more money than they know what to do with are going to realize that once this administration has finished squeezing every single last drop out of working hard class people, that there is no money left to squeeze. How long is it going to take those rich assholes to realize that the government will be coming after their money next?
Well, I mean, I don't even think it's, I mean, the government we have now, they're the ones who are profiting. They're the ones who are giving away these handouts. I've said this before. I've watched the show with my daughter, Breaking Bad, and one of the things I've stressed to her is desperate people are making desperate decisions. When you've got nowhere else to go, nowhere else to turn, this is why people are driven to these lengths. A school teacher teaching children chemistry gets lung cancer. Never smoked a day in his life, gets lung cancer, and has to subsidize his treatments selling meth. You're like, oh, well, that's just a story. That's not. It's like people are doing this now. People are committing illegal acts just to stay afloat, and this is what drives people into these. Into these dangerous professions. So going back to this, with the billionaire class, if they keep pushing people against the wall, eventually "Eat the Rich" is not going to be a meme. It's not just going to be a slogan. That's going to be a reality.
I know. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's just it eventually people are going to be so desperate that you're going to have more Luigi Mangionis on the street. You will.
I'm kind of envisioning a cannibalistic Mr. Heisenberg running around.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying literally eat the rich. Literally, I mean taking them out. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, it's going to be.
I know.
It's going to be Marseille.
I know.
1790s. It's the French Revolution. I mean.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, people are not happy. They are not playing around. So. Yeah. So again, going back to the story, it's just been stalemate after stalemate. Finally, they're like, you know what? Even Josh Hawley, that chicken shit, is saying it's going to be very harmful for working people. Well, no shit, Sherlock. You got Sheldon Whitehouse, who says, of course, who wouldn't be upset by this? We've got a madman in charge. And I would say madmen. It's not just Donald Trump, it's his enablers. He said Democrats now need to make sure that Trump is held responsible for all that and pays the price for it. That's called the political price. This is why I say America has to suffer some more, because we are still not getting it. I'm looking at the poll numbers for people who are registering to vote, and they're just abysmal all across the board. We don't have people waking up and saying, "You look, if things continue the way they are, I'm going to end up going bankrupt just trying to afford groceries." You got people literally financing just to pay bills. In the supposed richest country on the planet, people are they're financing groceries and bills. What the fuck? NPR. Let's go to NPR. So with much of the federal government shut down, Republicans and we got to stop this. Republicans and Democrats failed to agree on a pair of dueling funding bills to keep the government open. No, this is this is on the Republicans. Like I said, you've got all four branches now. What's your excuse? You guys can't govern. And they don't care to govern. They never did. When are we going to get this through our heads? You know, I call this the government of derp, is what this is. You know, you got a bunch of chuckle fucks, you know, oh, it's like they don't care to govern, they don't want to govern, they just want to enrich themselves, and they're doing it. And we're going to talk about the Trump family, their extended family. Now we're on generation 3, and they're jumping on board the grift gravy train. They really are. Democrats have insisted that they will not vote for any spending measure unless Republicans agree to extend the subsidies for health insurance plans purchased through the Affordable Care Act. The Republicans couldn't even do that much. So it's like, okay.
Trump has never had a healthcare plan in place. He's always had a concept of a plan. But he's never actually had a plan to put in place to take proper care of people's health. It's always, I have a concept of a plan, but this plan is never materialized because I don't think it exists.
Yeah, someone call Kayleigh McEnany back in here. You remember his former press secretary?
Yeah, I do.
It's like,
sadly,
and that binder with nothing in there. Where's the plan? Where's the healthcare plan? It's now administration number 2, and you still don't have it. Something tells me they never had, and they never planned on it.
Nope. Look at all his empty promises. Oh, if you get me re-elected again, I'll release the Epstein files. Still not released the Epstein files.
Yeah.
What he has got coming out and said is a load of junk memorabilia that is not worth anything, but his base seem to be buying. Like, I don't know if you remember, I think we did talk about this before, but this guy actually bought a guitar. I think it was a Taylor Swift guitar that we talked about, and this guy wasted
$10,000, I think.
Yeah, by breaking it just to try and prove some point. But all I'm thinking is, you're not proving any point apart from breaking your bank balance for no reason.
Well, see, here's the thing. He could afford it because he's got lots of money. In order to get into that room, you already had to have a pretty sizable wealth stream. So, but it's the optics of it. It's like, do you not understand? Yeah. You blew all that money just for a stupid political statement. It's like, well, it's his money. He can do whatever he wants. But again, I don't want to hear
that towards good.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that they're struggling. I don't want to hear when you've got money to spend on that kind of bullshit.
Yeah, they're not struggling. That's the thing. It's like he wasted that money when he could have donated that to people who are actually struggling, people who actually need the help.
No, stop that. That's something Christ would do. That's not what the Republicans would do. Come on now.
Sorry, is that too woke?
It is now. Going back to the article, President Donald Trump has indicated that he may take additional action to reshape the government. More illegal firings. On Tuesday afternoon, he alluded to possibly carrying out mass firings of federal workers and eliminate programs in the event of a shutdown. We can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them, Trump told reporters in the Oval Office. We can cut large numbers of people. We don't want that, but we don't want fraud, waste, and abuse. Remember that, chestnut? Here's the thing. What did we learn from the last string of federal worker firings? What did we learn? These people, they serve a very vital function in government. Oh my goodness. They are much needed. Bring them back. And we ended up rehiring the very ones we fired. It's like these people do not learn. The federal government, believe it or not, is so understaffed. You can't. We've got over 100,000 federal employees that are set to retire this year alone. 100,000 federal workers retiring this year and in 2026.
Mm-hmm. So this is how incompetent that the Trump administration is. They actually fired workers from a nuclear reactor. And then when the nuclear reactor was starting to like sort of, threaten to like sort of explode, you had Elon's people desperately trying to phone these nuclear reactor people if they would come back to work, and they were just like, nope, you're on your own, good luck, goodbye. And I don't blame them, to be honest.
That I would love to get a list of all those Doge flunkies. I want them all on a list, and they need to be hauled in front of Congress, and they need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent.
Yeah, they're not the only ones that I would like on the list as well. I want all the ICE workers listed
ICE,
as well. I want them
Doge,
all listed.
all of them.
Yeah, all of them. I want them all prosecuted, and I want every single one of them to face justice for the injustices that they have done to the country already. I want Trump and his administration to face the consequences of what they've done to this country as well. Nobody is above the law, not even the law itself, and they should not be allowed to get away with what they've done.
Yeah, I'm no fan of Chuck Schumer, but he said he said this. We see now Republicans are plunging America into a shutdown, rejecting bipartisan talks, pushing a partisan bill, and risking American health care. Yeah. That's it. Republican leaders say the plan to continue holding votes on their stopgap funding measure, hoping they could peel off more Democrats to join them as shutdown wears on. When we had a vote on our proposal to keep the government open right before the recess, we had one Democrat vote. Tonight we had 3, so the cracks are beginning to show. 2 Democrats, John Fetterman, Catherine Cortez of Nevada, and Angus King of Maine, who caucuses with Democrats, voted for the Republican bill on Tuesday.
I'm not surprised about John Fetterman, to be honest. I am not surprised about John Fetterman, to be honest. We knew that he was a
wolf
we
in
knew
sheep's
that
clothing.
I wanted to call him a turncoat, but I don't know if that was the correct phrase or terminology to use.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, he needs to be gone. There needs to be somebody who can stand up and say, you know what, we need to have an actual Democrat in there. And black people were warning us about Fetterman. They're like, you don't want to do this. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when he got on the primary, it's like, well, fuck. Now it's either this not so sure Democrat and this Republican. Well, the choice is obvious, but we had a choice. We could have gone with somebody else besides Fetterman. Fetterman has burned a lot of bridges, but he needs to be gone. He needs to be
removed.
A one-termer.
We
don't need this.
Nope. He needs to be yeeted in the sun with the rest of the Republican Party.
So, if you have Democrats in your state, call them and tell them to hold fast. Tell them not to cave. We cannot allow a Republican victory. I mean, it's not so much that we're just sticking it to them. We're talking in vital, important healthcare that can be gone if the Republicans have their way, and we can't allow it. Well, I for one could use some good news before we take another deep slog into the abyss. It's a story about a octopus. So let me just go ahead and read the article. It was a routine dive. A professional diver was focused on underwater repairs when he noticed a shadow nearby, an octopus watching. Nothing unusual until it did something no one expected. When a wrench slipped from his hand, the octopus picked it up and passed it back. When a bolt drifted away, it retrieved it calmly. Dive after dive, the same thing happened. The octopus seemed to understand, helping him like a silent partner in the deep. At first, no one believed him, but then he set up cameras. The footage showed it all. The octopus moving with purpose, collecting tools, gently returning them, no scavenging, no fleeing, just helping. The video stunned scientists and captivated millions online. Experts called it rare, even extraordinary. Proof of intelligence and adaptability we're only beginning to grasp. For the diver, though, the meaning was simple. I'm just happy I can help down there. One man, one octopus, two different worlds, and a moment of connection that reminded us cooperation knows no boundaries. Now, if that isn't the most sappiest of sappy writing as I've ever read, I don't know what is.
I know.
But I choose to believe it. I must.
That is so awesome, though.
I mean, we already have Octopi City. Why couldn't this be true?
Leave Octopi City alone, mister. And
Yeah.
I think this, yes, even though this story is a little sappy, I think is really heartwarming.
And details could be embellished, but let's hope. I don't know.
How about we hold this space?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. But how about we hold this space and we'll keep an eye out for other heartwarming stories like this to see if octopus have really decided to sort of cooperate or are they planning to overtake the world.
I, for one, would welcome our new octopi overlords. Anyway.
Maybe they're working in cahoots with the Labubu's.
I have to say, this does not really give... We've been talking about the Epstein files, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And this is... So Donald Trump is releasing Amelia Earhart files. That is what he's decided.
Amelia Earhart.
It's like,
we don't need those files. We want the Epstein.
Right. So somebody put a meme and said, I read over the transcripts of Amelia Earhart on her last known transmissions. She said, release the Epstein files.
Yeah, she did.
Why not?
That was her last transmission. Yeah. Release the Epstein files.
We're just going to rewrite history and rewrite reality. Let's just continue. Why not? Well, would you like to watch a video of Drunky McDrunkface Pete Keg's breath? The Secretary of War. This is, I tell you what, this little bitch boy.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks he's going to go all tough. He summoned all of the generals. Here's what was said at the summit. Here's just a few of his remarks.
Oh.
Fat troops. No more beardos.
All right, I'm ready.
The woke department. It's a bad look. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test. For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons, based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts. Simply put, if you do not meet the male-level physical standards for combat positions, cannot pass a PT test, or don't want to shave and look professional, it's time for a new position. Welcome to the War Department, because the era of the Department of Defense is over.
You ever see this guy?
What the hell did I just watch?
This guy, have you ever seen him try to do chin-ups?
No, and I don't think I want to, because I don't think he'd be able to do them.
I have a video of that, but we're not going to watch it right now. We got just too much. And this guy's like struggling to get his chin over the bar. He's like, he reminds me of Donald Trump in his pantomiming.
Ew.
Yeah, deadlifting. Yeah, that's what he reminded me of. I mean, I'm telling you, even Kennedy Jr. over there, fuckface, even he did a better job than Pete Hegseth. Anyway. And here we are.
Sorry.
I mean, these people are just obsessed over the dominant male form. They're just so obsessed. They're like, they want to be Spartans so bad, and they fail miserably. Here's an explanation.
It's time to read. I have been thinking, why is the Trump administration and even Biden administration so obsessed with trans people? Why is there this faux debate about trans athletes? Why do they care about that? So I have been reading from this book, Manliness and Civilization, by Gail Biederman, A Cultural History of Gender and Race in the United States. And I think it's important, one, to remember that gender is a social construct. So it has been created, right, in real ways through institutions like medical institutions, schools, so on and so forth. But it is not intrinsic. But in order for people to believe that it's intrinsic, it requires propaganda. So in one way that they have pushed propaganda around masculinity in particular is around sports. And this quote highlights that. By the 1890s, strenuous exercise in team sports had come to be seen as crucial to the development of powerful manhood. College football had become a national craze, and commentators like Theodore Roosevelt argued that football's ability to foster virility was worth even an occasional death on the playing field. So literally this idea.
Teddy Roosevelt, that guy was insane. This guy was a fucking chuckle fuck. I mean, this guy glorified war until he started losing his own sons to it. Then it wasn't so great. But this guy he just loved war. He was just like, yeah, this is good. This is going to get our physiques up, and we're going to be awesome, and yeah. He didn't even live past 55, as far as I know. He died in his 50s.
That masculinity and being a man was directly connected to being violent. So we have Pete Hegseth today addressing the military, the heads of the military, saying that you need to be void of emotion and just be violent. Just fulfill on what's happening around the world. Multiple genocides that the U.S. military has their hands. You need to just be attacking folks. And I say that, making that connection, because post-COVID, the military recruitment numbers were down. They were not making their recruitment quotas, right? And it's only recently in 2024 and 2025, according to Trump and Hegseth, so who knows how accurate that actually is that they're actually meeting their quotas, even though Hegseth is saying these fat-phobic things about generals and being misogynistic, of course, saying they're increasing the not the characteristics, but the qualifications to join the military, right? They're switching them and really aligning it with, this is how you are a man. All of these things are directly connected, right? How can I fill the military? If I convince young people who play sports, right, that you are so powerful and strong because you are a boy, right? And I can't have trans athletes because that uproots the ability to indoctrinate people in believing that they need to be inherently violent because they're a boy. That inhibits their ability to convince people into going into the military. They believe, and I believe too, that the presence of trans people, more visibility of people, because trans people have existed since the beginning of time, of course, but more visibility of trans people, folks understanding how gender actually works, which is why they want to remove any conversations around gender from school. They're doing partnerships with Turning Point, is because they literally want people to believe that biological essentialism, the idea that gender is intrinsic, that a boy is a particular way and a girl is a particular way, and that is just the way biologically. They want you to believe that, and it's not true. Literally, history will show you how even masculinity, the ways that people view masculinity, has shifted over time, from the Victorian era to Reconstruction, so on and so forth. And that's what this book does a really good job of talking about. Anti-immigration legislation. That is also a major tenet of the Trump administration and also of Biden. That is literally what organizes this country in a lot of ways. And a lot of people believed that with Trump's first presidency, that the Muslim ban was the worst in the first anti-immigration policy. Remember, Obama was called the deporter-in-chief. But what I want to bring your attention to is from this book, Arresting Dress, Cross-Dressing Law and Fascination in 19th Century San Francisco by Claire Sears. What they are talking about is they're literally talking about how anti-immigration laws coincided with cross-dressing laws, but a lot of it was rooted in transphobia. So talking about one of the first anti-immigration legislations, the Page Act of 1875, which banned Chinese women from coming into the country asserting that they were all sex. And then 7 years later, they have the Chinese Exclusion Act, which banned all Chinese people with limited class-based exceptions, that's important, for diplomats, merchants, teachers, students, and tourists. Supporters of exclusion mobilized multiple tropes of danger that position Chinese immigration as a direct threat to white labor, public health, and family life. Is you making the connections? These campaigns did not target cross-dressing practices as objects of control, but they did rely on political narratives of non-normative gender to mobilize public support. Moreover, anti-Chinese agitators allege that unlike the Chinese railroad worker, the Chinese domestic servant did not compete directly with white men, but with white women who were compelled to work at starvation prices or even were driven out of the domestic labor market into sex working. Thomas McGee, publisher of the anti-Chinese periodical San Francisco Real Estate Circular, wrote, "Men from China come here to do laundry work. Everyone doing this work takes bread from the mouths of our women." Anti-Chinese discourse thus constructed the feminized Chinese male domestic as a potent and dangerous figure who threatened not only normative gender relations, but also the economic well-being of white workers in general and white women workers in particular. So a lot of the magazines, the propaganda that they would push out about Chinese people, especially Chinese men, is that they were effeminate, right? This was going to impact white men believing that they are just inherently violent, that they're strong, that they need to be this way. If there's a Chinese man who's folding clothes, how is it that I have to be violent? So they needed to remove it, right? So when we're thinking about transphobia, it's important to also think about anti-immigration alongside of that. What are the ways that they're talking about immigrants today, right? What are the things that they're asserting about immigrants that literally walks the line of transphobia? Sometimes it's not even blatant transphobia. There are immigrants, but a lot of the ways that they talk about immigrants is in a way to assert that it's going to pollute in a lot of ways the white race. My last book for all of you, The Palestine Laboratory, How Israel Exports the Technology of Occupation Around the World by Anthony Lowenstein. This book is excellent. I know that Israel is in the process of essentially owning TikTok, but you have to understand that Israel has been an occupier for a very long time, has been in bed with the United States government for a long time, and they had lots of surveillance technology built in Israel, a lot of defense built in Israel that the U.S. exports, right? That the U.S. uses at the Mexican border to literally go after people, but not necessarily just what they would consider immigrants, which is just as violent, but also journalists, go after activists, right? Surveil their phones, put surveillance in the refrigerators, what microwaves, cars, whatever they could do to quell dissent. But what I want you to understand is that all of these companies under defense, right, make up a big part of the stock exchange. What was Trump also doing? He was literally trying to crash the stock exchange so he can make money. If motherfuckers are not going into the military, they're not participating in this, if they're reading, if they're like, I don't have to be inherently violent, I don't have to go into the military, these fools lose money. So literally, it's important to understand that at the end of the day, transphobia in the ways that they're relating to it is a threat to white people, in particular white cis men, in the ways that they want to continue to dominate. They use war, right? That's what Pete Hegseth said. This is the Department of War. They use violence, which is why they don't care about mass shooters going into a school, a church, a school, a church, a mall, a grocery store. They don't care because they believe that white men are upholding violence. That is just who they are naturally. That's why they don't say anything about it. But white men, you need to wake it up. They don't care about you. Whether you be in the military or not, they care about lining their pockets.
Yeah, no notes. I think she pretty much said it all. It's this glorification of violence. This is why we're headed down the road that we're heading. And it's quite sad. You know, the moment you start bringing up gun reform and gun laws and gun control, the angry white crackers just come out and just and then when you start holding them accountable, this is persecution. You're treating us like a black person. You know? So, yeah. That's it. The glorification of violence, thinking you're going to get somewhere in society, thinking you're going to make your society stronger. Show me one successful society existing today that was built on violence, that was built on domination. You know. So this is Gavin Newsom. He tweets, groceries are up, electric bills are up, restaurant prices are up, used car prices are way up. Now Trump wants to raise healthcare costs over 75%. He's going to shut down the government so he can hand out tax cuts to his billionaire buddies. He does not care about you. Again, this is why I say America has to suffer. More Americans have to suffer for this to sink in because we're not getting it. You know. By the way, next time someone tells you that America isn't a racist country, just remind them that this nation is willing to accept treason from a white president, but not health care from a black one. Oops. Who said that? Was that out loud? Yeah. Meanwhile, these fucking cultists, tell me this isn't deranged.
All right, Charlie, this is for you, bro.
Anything you want to add to what we just saw?
Bombastic side eye of what the fuck.
Yeah. We're gonna glorify a fucking racist and a rage baiter. That's all this guy was good for, was rage baiting. He had no solutions. He had nothing to offer, just rage bait and racism. That's it.
I can't believe people would actually get something so hateful. Why would you want to get something so hateful tattooed on him? It's gross. It's disgusting. It's vile.
Yeah, I've even seen that dweeb play basketball.
He can play basketball.
Let's just put it this way: no.
It brings
Guys,
to mind
as fuck.
Yeah,
it makes you think of the title.
Title.
Yeah, it
Men
makes you
Can't
think
Jump.
of the title. White man can't jump, and you wonder, you know what?
Yeah,
Maybe they were
was
onto
totally
something.
just thinking that. yeah, because that was totally giving off that vibe. I was just like,
oh god,
it just it's so disgusting. But I do have to say, even though it is absolutely disgusting, them getting these tattoos on them, at least we know who to avoid with those virtual hate symbols on them.
Yeah, at least we'll know who to avoid. Yeah, exactly. You know what? Put it on your face even. But it's okay. Do it. Go for it.
Yeah, be easier for us to point out.
Father convicted of raping his 13-year-old daughter multiple times after drugging her with booze and weed. Blames her for wearing short shorts. This is in Knoxville,
No.
Tennessee.
No. It is never what the victims are wearing. Never what we're wearing.
If I were
It's
to
never
say,
been about what we're wearing.
if I were to say the name the Cowsills, what would you think of?
The park, the rain, and everything.
And other things. That was a song that they were known for singing. It was
Yeah.
an all-family. It was basically the predecessors of the Partridge Family.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cowsills literally got the father who got their family together. You remember the youngest one? You ever see videos of them?
Yeah.
You see the younger sister, Susan?
Yes. I'm just going to say, I hope you're not going to say anything that is going to discourage me from listening to The Park, the Rain, and everything, because that is like one of my favorite songs, like ever.
The reason,
Okay.
the reason they went downhill so bad is their father. They made a few short hits. They made numerous television appearances, and then you never heard from them again. It's like they just vanished, and that's because of their dad.
Yeah.
The guy was a fucking drunk.
Oh no.
Literally crawled into bed with his daughter, tried raping her.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That is.
She was 10
heartbreaking.
years old.
I hope he's now in prison.
No, he's gone. He was never held accountable.
He should have been.
I watched a documentary on the Cowsills. Came out in 2011.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, Amazon Prime, I think it was. It was wow. I was like, yeah, this reminds me of the Beach Boys in a way. Not the raping thing, but just the bad management, just doesn't know fuck all.
Yeah.
And literally fucked his own family out of lucrative record deals. He was just fucked. Anyway.
That is such a shame for them that their father was such a vile person that they had to suffer the consequences of his actions. That is such a shame.
Good old Republican family values. MAGA Republican and former South Carolina State Representative Robert John R.J. May the 3rd has been arrested and has pled guilty to distributing child sexual abuse material. He's married with 2 children.
I hope she divorces him and gets protective orders and custody of the children, that they never see him again. He should not be allowed within a sort of 900,000 square feet of any child in the area.
So not only are children being shot in their schools because of Republican lack of gun reform due to Republicans, they're getting raped in their own homes by their own family members. Yeah. But we're not going to address that. We're just going to keep giving billionaires more money. Because that's what they need. We've got mass shootings, and we're going to be talking about it on the next show. You know, you got money for everything. Ted Cruz, you want to hear from Ted Cruz?
Said we should have bipartisan agreement. I think that's a great idea. We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders? How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles? Senator Booker, stop attacking pedophiles. Stop attacking pedophiles. Let's stop attacking pedophiles. Stop attacking pedophiles. Stop attacking pedophiles. murder book all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles.
I have one word for you, Ted Cruz.
You heard that right.
How about that instead? That is absolutely disgusting. How the...
Who came up with the wood chipper memes? You remember those memes that were in the early part of the Trump administration? Yeah, well, we find a pedophile, we're gonna really give him some medication. We'll either give him a 357 Magnum or we'll put him in a wood chipper.
Mm-hmm.
Line them up.
I remember all those memes. Yeah,
Line them up.
I remember all those memes.
Where'd they
around.
go? How come they're no longer in vogue?
Psst. Psst. Do you think it's because the president's a pedophile himself?
Yeah, they got real quiet on that one, didn't they?
And you know what
Yeah, they
pisses
did.
me off the most? The government be acting broker than our mamas after Christmas break. But always got their fucking hand out looking for something. They be handing out the biggest tax cuts, and then we'll turn around and tell the average American citizen that they broke as shit. Oh, we got to shut down. You better go call Elon and them. You better go call Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Larry. Get them all of that. Call them all. You better go call them. I don't know what the fuck you want us to do. You gave them the biggest tax breaks. You knew that shit wasn't coming back to them. And that ROI wasn't going to be immediate. Because when you gave the tax breaks, the economy was already in shitty condition. Now you looking at us. We got churches over here asking for $800,000 in donations. I'm sitting here looking like, well, damn. I only needed $50,000 to get my news station up off the ground, and I was feeling a little off or a little bad for asking the donations. Then I thought about it. The government quite literally has not stopped asking for donations since they've ever existed. In fact, they were so audacious that they started asking MAGA for donations to help cover the trillions of dollars of worth of debt. They kept asking MAGA this year to help cover the trillions of dollars worth of debt in the American economy. And my question is, if there's trillions of dollars worth of debt, what the fuck gives you the right to measure my income to debt ratio? I want to know. Because it sounds to me like you giving tax breaks and shit, knowing you ain't fucking got it. Then you turn around looking at us like we got something to get a fuck up. Like shit wasn't already stretched thin. Like we wasn't already robbing Peter to pay motherfucking Paul. Like we wasn't already trying to stretch $1 and to try to make $1 out of 15 cents. You handing out tax breaks left and right. You get a tax break, you get a tax break, you get a tax break, and trying to squeeze the middle class as if there was any money there to begin with. That's why they call it the middle class. It's only some there. It ain't a lot. And y'all still got y'all hand out. You better go ask Elon. They over there jumping for joy every other day about the investments that they got. JD Vance, don't he own Rumble? $26 billion in shit, or $26 million in shares of Rumble. Don't he also own that company that just swiped them farms from up underneath them farms, 7th generation of farms? Don't he also did he co-found that company? Ain't they making money up off that shit? The company that JD Vance co-owns that provides funding to Rumble is a funding company. It's not just no regular old company. It's a funding company. And then y'all just make like $55 billion off of the selling of EA Sports. If you don't get the fuck out my face asking me for some goddamn money. Like you ain't just spent over 2 years handing us your ass to kiss when we told you to stop sending our money up overseas. I ain't got it. You better go turn one of them billionaires upside down. Shake their pockets out. Y'all celebrities at the top that's been getting in nefarious shit over these years, Kardashians, you know I'm talking to you. You better get your affairs in order, get them ducks in a row, baby. Because once they realize we ain't got it, Where you think they come to get it from? It ain't from our couch cushions. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
She is not wrong.
Yep. You know.
And that touches to what I said earlier. Do the billionaires realize that once the working class have got nothing left to give, the government, the Trump administration, is just going to come after them for their money?
Yeah. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Playing in our faces is what they're doing. And eventually, it's going to come to a head because, yeah, eventually it's going to have to come from somewhere. It's going to have to come from somewhere. And will we learn? Will we learn? I don't think so. Because we haven't learned shit yet. You know, we're still worshiping billionaires. It's like we've got this sick, twisted disease of the worship of billionaires. You know, are we going to learn? I don't know. Time will tell.
Mm-hmm. We need to make sure that.
What do I know?
Mm-hmm. We need to make sure that billionaires are paying their fair share of taxes and that those taxes are going towards actually helping the economy instead of trying to destroy it.
When we taxed billionaires, that's when we were the most prosperous.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah, and so it's like if we just get back to that, all we need to do is... But I guess we're doing it all wrong. Speaking of which...
We have 21 victims that we were able to identify, 62 overall.
Ted Cruz said we should stop attacking schmatophiles.
We have 21 victims that we were able to identify, 62 overall. We have 21 victims that we were able to identify, 62.
Enough. Anyway, so yeah, we're letting billionaires off and we're letting pedophiles off. You know, they get a slap on the wrist.
And they deserve so much more than just a slap on the wrist. And while they're taxing the billionaires, they want to tax the churches as well and any other institution that is able to afford to pay, you know, the fair share of taxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
it's like we got
that
money
goes
to
for
burn, money to burn.
Yeah. That includes the conglomerate companies as well.
Yeah.
They need to be paying their fair share of taxes as well.
Agreed. Well, folks, we want to thank you so much for sticking it out with us, sticking it out and watching to the end. If you did, we want to thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If you want more independent media in your life, please consider supporting us. We would like to be in your eyes and ears. Cash App, Venmo, Patreon, links will be in the description. And don't forget, you can also follow us on TikTok, Bluesky, Discord, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, Kick, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, and now Substack.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for tuning in and not tuning out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Please do all the things. And with that, take care.
Good night.